Hi everyone, it's Heather from True North Spirit Medicine here. How you going? Today I'm going to do the monthly energy reading for October 2022. Okay. I feel excited about this month, which is good. Excited in a different way to other months though. Sometimes it feels like sparkly and excited, and this feels, I don't know if I can describe it. I want to say profound and excited, but that sounds a bit, I don't know, daft to say about whatever's going to come through before I've even started. But anyway, there you go. Strange. Okay. So today I'm going to use the Wild Wisdom of the Faery Oracle cards by Lucy Cavendish, artwork by Selena Fennick. I don't have the box, but I've got the book. So that's the deck that I'm going to be using today. I think I used this last month in the monthly energy readings, but they wanted to be used again today, so that's nice. Okay, so again I will shuffle the cards and choose 3, and then I'll do the direct channel bit. And I do feel like it's going to be up first, the channeling bit. Yeah, they do channel throughout, of course, and they keep sort of expanding on the information that comes through at the beginning and dropping more information in along the way that's connected to particularly the images on the cards, sometimes the words as well. But yeah, so let's see. I've already asked for the best, most useful, profound, best healing cards and a bunch of other adjectives cards for the people watching on my YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. Yeah, so let's see. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so I've got 4 cards and I'm just gonna have a look / feel into them and see. I think the order does need to change in these cards, which is not uncommon. So I'll just feel into them for a second. Okay, those 2 and then that way or the other way around. First 2 are pretty clear. And the second 2, I'm just not 100% sure whether they need to swap around or not. No, I think that's right. Okay, I'll show them to you in a second as we go along. Okay, so I'm just going to... Sorry, I was re-looking at the first 2. Spill my tea. Okay, so I'm going to just close my eyes and tune into the spiritual team that's waiting in the wings, so to speak, and see what they've got to say to us today. Or they're very excited, close. It's like if you're, waiting in the wings beside the stage and you're like, you want to run out because you're excited. It's that kind of feeling. They're keen to connect with us, is what that means. Greetings, dear ones, and indeed we are keen to connect with you, as Heather says. Keen as a bean, in fact, to use some of your vernacular, which we quite like because beans are a great symbol for growth and renewal, and a great metaphor for life coming out of something which seems dead and dried and shriveled. If you've ever seen a dried bean, you know what I'm talking about. And all you need to do, dear ones, is sometimes just place it into the ground with some beautiful dirt, some beautiful earth, and some water, and it will sprout. Sometimes you need to take that dried bean, dear ones, and place it into some water first, the giver of life. And it will rehydrate, it will soak, it will absorb the beauty of the light and the information and the light codes and the water codes within the water molecules first, and it will plump up. It will become full of life again. And then, dear ones, you may plant it into the ground with the beautiful cocooning earth around it and give it some water, and it will sprout. Eventually sprout up through the dirt and the earth into the daylight, and then you will see its first blossoming leaves. And then as you continue to nurture and care for it, it will climb as high as the structure around it will allow. You see the metaphor, I don't doubt. And eventually you will harvest from this bean. For this one bean seed can give you many, many beans, many, many more beans from this one seemingly dead, seemingly dry, seemingly shriveled place. Can come a great sprouting of life. We do indeed like this keen as a bean metaphor. And we have taken you all, including Heather, on a little journey into gardening and harvesting that none of us quite expected. But no doubt with your wisdom, you can see what we are saying with this story of the bean. That even when things seem dead and lifeless and without hope, things can still be watered and nurtured, shone down from above, nurtured and held from beneath, and eventually, things can sprout from this place of seeming desolation. It is a story, is it not, once again, of fear and love. For these are the great stories of our time. Fear or love, fear or love, fear or love. Which side of the seesaw will you swing towards? Which side of the coin will you flip? For each day, in each moment, you get to decide. Do you see the world through the lens of love, or do you see the world through the lens of fear? And no doubt you are already well versed in the media, your mainstream media, where it is their job, so they think, to give you fear. And you buy it from the newsstand for 20 cents or $2. Or whatever the currency of the day is. And you consume it over your breakfast or your lunch. You discuss it over your water coolers at your office. You watch it again in the evening or on your computer phones, scrolling through the doom, as they say. Sometimes realizing that these industries of news are designed to sell you fear, and in that, when you realize you can keep your detachment while becoming aware of situations in which to send compassion or compassionate action to, and that is fine, my friends, that is needed, my friends. But please do not fall into the trap of thinking this is the only news on the planet, for it is not. There is indeed great wisdom lining up and aligning and arising on this planet that is not in your news media. There is indeed great love, great care and great kindness rising up and blossoming, just like your bean, on the planet at the moment, dear ones, that is not in your news media. So you see, when you have this lens of love and or fear, it is like some sunglasses, tinted lenses, glasses. So do you have fear or do you have love? Do you have fear or do you have love? And it may vacillate. It may shift and change throughout your day, and that is okay, dear ones. Do not beat yourself up and add fear to your own heart for falling prey to the words of others or the industries that are designed to keep you in fear by selling you these terrible stories. But instead, bring yourself back to your breath, bring yourself back to your heart, bring yourself back to your pineal and the alignment between your brain and your heart and essentially your soul. Breathe into that beautiful bubble, that beautiful Merkabah, that beautiful chariot of light that you sit within every breath of every day on this planet. It is yours. This beautiful bubble full of light and information and wisdom and kindness and of course love. See yourself in a beautiful waterfall. You can do this sitting on a train or in some traffic. You can even do it sitting in your bathroom if you choose. We will not judge you for that. In fact, we will respect your privacy, of course, for we see your energy and not your physical form always. But we will also respect your desire to connect with us whenever and wherever you desire. The more that you can connect with us, your spiritual team, your council of elders, your higher self, the oneness that is unity consciousness, whatever you wish to call it, whatever you wish to call us, it does not matter, for we are love. And the more throughout your day that you can connect to love, the better we will all be. The easier your choices will become when you look through that lens and you go, oh, I have a fear lens on. I shall take my fear lens off, and with assistance from my guides and my loved ones and my ancestors and all of these divine, beautiful helpers, I will replace the lens of love upon my face. And then that is what I will see. I will see all through this lens and through this lens only. And then from there, as you connect to this beautiful channel, this beautiful waterfall, this beautiful bubble, this beautiful Merkabah of the heart, then your choices and decisions and your steps on your pathway through your life become easier and easier and easier. For it is unmistakable in these times of heightened duality who around you is full of love and who around you is full of fear. It may be disheartening to realize that some whom you love are full of fear, and you cannot save the drowning person. Remember, dear ones, you must stand on your lighthouse cliff and not be pulled down to those who have chosen to stay in the dark and crash themselves upon the rocks. There are others who can help them. They are not alone, just as you are not alone. But oftentimes in these days in particular, in these months in particular, in these times in particular, it is vital for you as an individual to stay connected to us as a collective and stay connected to the collective of humanity, the collective consciousness of humanity. And that, my dear ones, you connect to all of that through the heart. We are with you with every breath. We are with you at every turn. We are with you in every moment that you wish us to hold your hand. All you must do is ask. Ask, my friends, ask. Ask for divine intervention. Ask for assistance. Ask to be shown the best way forward, so you too can see your golden stepping stones on your pathway to your purpose and your peace lit up as clearly as if there was a spotlight. This is no longer stumbling around in the dark, my dear ones. This is fully lit, fully guided, fully embraced, fully loved, fully honoured, beautiful, divine pathways that you walk. And we are with you. Oh my, we are with you every single step of the way. We love you dearly. We thank you for being here. We thank you for joining with us again today. And we will talk to you again very, very soon. And so it is. Oh, how nice was that? That was cool. I didn't want to open my eyes again. Lovely. I'm sure you can feel the strength in that channel, the power in it. I kind of understand what I was trying to articulate before I began, that it felt profound or something. Yeah, because it did. That's cool. And for most of that, I forgot that I was talking to you via a camera. I felt like I was sitting in front of a group of people. Well, I am, but, you know, in the same physical room as me. Like when I channel live, it felt a lot more like that this time than I think it ever has doing it to camera. That's interesting. I liked your bean thing. That was cool. That was really cool. I didn't expect that. You were right. I never expect anything. Well, I never know what we're going to talk about, really. Sometimes I get a feeling, but I never know this. I never know the specifics. And how funny is this? Like, normally I just drink water, but today I wanted to drink. It's a cup of rosehip and hibiscus tea, and I felt a really strong desire. I use this cup most days, but I felt like I wanted to drink my tea on camera for some reason today, which was quite strange. But now I get it. Look, love. That's funny. Okay. Okay, the cards. That was really interesting. I really liked that channel. And most of you know, or some of you know who've worked with me, or perhaps seen me here on YouTube before, like I don't, or know other channels, or channel yourself. When you finish channeling, you don't, or I don't really, and most channels are this, all channels are the same as far as I know, you don't really remember what you've just said, which sounds a bit weird, but they're not your words. Like I didn't write a script, or I didn't have a lesson plan before I sat down to do that first bit. I just, practiced and trained to let them come through. So I don't know what they're going to say before I say it, which was very scary at first, I must say. I was like, whoa, but now I really like it. And yeah, like I don't really remember what I've just said. So when I upload it to YouTube, like I have to go through and edit it and add the little intro and outro thing. Sometimes I have to cut in the middle because there's a noise in the background and I have to edit it out or whatever. But then I write I have to write a description and put some tags and, that kind of SEO businessy stuff with the video. And oftentimes, well, pretty much every single time, I go to write the description for the video and I've got almost no idea what we've just talked about. And sometimes I vaguely remember something about beans or, a metaphor for growth or something. So I'll write a couple of sentences and then I'll have to actually go and watch the video, particularly the first part, the direct channel part. And then I'll write and I'll go, oh, I was kind of right, but, there's a lot more to it, or a bit more detail or whatever. yeah, it's kind of interesting. Well, I find it interesting anyway. Okay. I felt like I just kind of needed to chat for a minute before I got to the cards, like to kind of come out of that quite profound space to sit and do the next bit. I'm just going to take my sock off. I'm off. I'm still on crutches, but I'm out of the cast and I've got a moon boot to help me walk after the car crash in June. But I took the moon boot off because it's a bit warm today. But I left the sock on. But now I took that off because I'm hot. Okay. Okay. Oof, that was big. All right. Yeah, okay. So, the first card, which I was a little surprised to see initially, and now it makes a lot more sense with that dry bean metaphor. Okay, so it says, cry for nature, mourning for something sacred which seems lost. And this card, all of the other cards are coloured, and this card is sort of black and white, or sepia and white. And it's got a picture of like a fairy lady in like the curled up sort of crouch position on top of a dead cut tree stump. Cry for nature. And again, I'll take photos of these cards and I'll put them up on the social media channels a day or so after I've put the video up, so you can have a closer look there if you want to. Okay, so I'm just going to tune in and see what they want to say. They're like beans, 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 beans. It's all in the metaphor of that the bean which seems dead or dried or lifeless that they talked about in the opening channel. And there's something quite beautiful and quite sacred here, they're saying, about the tears watering the earth. And I have a sense of there's kind of lots of myths and not fables because that's animals, but like in old stories, there's stories of characters in sacred texts or as a metaphor in a fairy tale or whatever, crying tears onto the earth and then things sprouting from those tears. And I think there's a saying, something about let the tears of grief water the earth or something like that. Anyway, I think you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's that feeling of, or that sense of growth. What is it? Growth coming through grief. There we go. Growth coming through grief. Growth coming from grief. Growth sprouting from grief. There's a slight sense here of all is not lost. So if something's ended in your life recently, there is a strength and a power to letting a door close because it lets the light and the air into the new venture and the new beginning and the new openings that can come. But there's also here a sense of, it's not keep the door open, it's not that at all. It's more about allowing for the mourning period, the grieving period of the ending, to fuel or feed or water what it is that comes next. Yeah. That makes sense, I think, yeah. It felt contradictory when I first started saying that bit, but it makes sense. Yeah. And I saw something on, I think it was Facebook or Instagram or something the other day, that quote about grief is just a sign of how much you loved something or someone. And it's got that feeling behind it too. Interesting. Okay. Okay, and then the next card, Gatekeeper. Fairy time, time shifts, dimensional slips. And I feel like these two cards, the first card and the second card, are really sort of intimately linked. And they're showing me the trees that look lifeless in the second card because it's winter, connecting it to the sort of tree stump in the first card. Okay, Gatekeeper. So it's got a fairy lady. Well, they're all fairies because it's a fairy oracle deck. A beautiful sort of powerful fairy lady with a big sword, quite powerful, standing outside in the forest, and it's winter, lots of snow, some trees without leaves, and another big tree with a fairy door in it. Gatekeeper. Fairy time, time shifts, dimensional slips. Yeah. Gatekeeper. And they're pointing out those trees that look lifeless because they don't have any leaves on them, but it's winter. So new growth will come even though it looks barren and desolate and dead, just like that bean in that first metaphor or whatever it is in the first channel. And I feel like this card is really powerful. Like when I drew this card right at the beginning, I was like, there's the one. And that felt, this card, this Gatekeeper card, feels like it's like the pivot point of this energy for October 2022. That's a really big thing to say. And then, again, they're showing me that seesaw that they talked about in the mid-month message that I put up on YouTube a couple of weeks ago. It's that pivot point. And it's like you're pivoting on these portals. I think there was just like a new moon or something. I know Jupiter was just super close a couple of days ago. Oh, sorry. I'm using my office chair and it's a swingy chair. And I can't help it. Whenever I'm on a swingy chair, I have to swing. Sorry. Yeah, so Jupiter's been really close and there's a new moon that was... Anyway, there's lots of... look up the astrology of what's going on because it's all really powerful. Potent and important is what they're saying. And remember, it's here designed to help us, okay? And I feel like with all of this increase in, you know, the light-dark balance shifting, I feel like particularly this last month that's going to carry us forward into October, so the energy of September sort of, it's like a wave cresting coming into October and like standing in your power and standing your ground and standing like this lady here, just calm and powerful with her sword outside the door, just going, yep, I'm here. I'm here. I'm this pivot point. I am the balance between love and fear, and I'm choosing love. I don't know what you're doing, but I'm choosing love. If you're not choosing love, you can go play over there if you want to. But I'm choosing love. I've got my blindfold off. I'm basking in this light. I'm seeing my pathway really clearly. If you can't see it, that's not my fault. That's not my problem. Do you know what I mean? Like, without being rude or arrogant about it, but just really standing your ground about where you are and who you are. Divine child of the universe, here on purpose, following your path. Regardless of what that looks like to anyone else. And sometimes even regardless what it looks like to you. It might look a little weird and wonky, but if you feel this really strong guidance to go in a particular direction and you've asked and you've set the symbol and you've done all the checking and it feels right and you're not hurting anyone else, then follow it, you know. I think they said a couple of months ago, it's your job to stand there and goddamn shine. And here is this call to action again, you know. And there's something here about these portals and these time shifts, that's right. And it's like, as you kind of level up in this game of life, pay attention to who's got a sense of humour. That's really important, right? Who's kept their sense of humour. But it's like these, you're going to leave people behind. And most of you who are on this path of being aware of there being more than four dimensions that we live in and exist in, have realised this already, that necessarily, in some ways, and sometimes in a lot of ways, leave people behind. Because they've still got their blindfolds on and they don't want to see, and they don't... Do you know what I mean? They're stuck in their trauma, drama, or childhood conditioning, or whatever it is, and you can't play that game anymore, so you've got to step away from that behaviour or that energy, and that sometimes necessitates stepping away from people or jobs or groups of people or news media or, you know, whatever it is for you. It's not ego. It's not ego. You know, it's a light-dark balance, and once you turn the light on, the darkness cannot exist. You know, so standing in this beautiful... There's something there at the beginning channel about the sort of waterfall energy. Standing in that waterfall energy as much and as often as you can, as you remember to throughout your day, will keep you strong in your convictions and strong in your heart. You know, this is all about compassion, isn't it? You know, and kindness and support and love. And it's time, my friends, to support you. You know, you can't keep giving from an empty cup. I feel like this message is in particular for some people out there that are watching. You can't keep giving from an empty cup. Some of you have drained your pail, your bucket, your cup so much that there's barely a drop left. You are like that dried bean because you've given so much. And it's time for you to soak in the water and absorb the codes and absorb the information and absorb the life-giving moisture that's there. It's time for you to allow yourself to be filled up from spirit, from others around you that are willing to give at this time of need for you. You know, let others, let us, let them fill up your cup. And then once your cup is overflowing, then you can give without depleting yourself. Then you can thrive and climb up your own little scaffolding and create more beans. Yeah, I feel like that message right there is really important for a lot of people watching. Yeah. Fill yourself up and let others fill you up. It's important. It's important. Rest, 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 rest. Like yesterday, I had a to-do list like we all do, and I barely did anything on my to-do list because I just didn't. I didn't feel like it. I didn't have the extra energy for it. And I kind of knew that if I tried to tackle anything on my to-do list, none of it's important, really, and none of it's time sensitive. So I'm lucky in that regard. But I think one of the great lessons from this car accident for me was how inconsequential a lot of the stuff in my diary was. You know, I remember when I was sort of recovered enough to be looking at my sort of work timetable and my calendar on my phone and just literally just moving everything a couple of weeks or a month or whatever, just literally just shifting everything. And everything that I had in the 2 weeks that I ended up being in hospital for was just like, oh, well, you know, obviously that stuff's got to move and happens another time or whatever. Yeah, it was a good lesson in that. What is inconsequential to survival and what is not. And yesterday, I felt like it was a really important day for me to just be present. And so I rested and I did a few things and, you know, did a little bit of work, but not a great deal. Watched some TV. Yeah. Did a little bit of weeding in the garden. And that was it. And that was plenty. And by, you know, bedtime I was tired. And slept really well, actually, last night for the first time in quite a while. Yeah, it's been a really interesting time. So yeah, paying attention to what it is that you need and how it is that you need to fill yourself up on a very personal, on a very day-to-day basis. Because that's what will get you through these weird, wonky, dimension shifty times, is nurturing yourself daily, you know. They're pointing at the cup again. Filling your cup up with love. It's cute. Okay, right. And because I'm back to using my video camera, my actual video camera, not my phone. I don't know how long we've been talking for. Anyway, Okay. Shimmer. Card number 3, glamour, confidence, allure, and charisma. So those first 2 cards are sort of intimately connected, and the second 2 cards are closely linked. Closely allied is what they're saying. So it feels like those first 2 cards are like the sort of grounded work underneath everything, and then these next 2 cards are the, what's the word? Like the payoff, the shining, the harvest, the beans, you'll see. Sorry. Sometimes words elude me, which is not so great when you're talking to people. Shimmer. And it's got a lovely fairy lady, lots of purples and sort of greens and some pinks in this card. And she's looking sitting sort of cross-legged on this plinth, plinth is like a bottom of a statue kind of thing, and sort of Celtic looking stonework behind her shimmer, and she's just looking kind of calmly powerful is what I want to say. And again, it's not about ego, it's just here I am sitting on my plinth with my lovely purple dress and my shiny wings, and I'm just shining, I'm shimmering in fact. Oh, and funny, when I was getting ready just now, I wanted to put some glitter on, but I actually didn't. But I wanted to put a bit of extra sparkle on. And they're saying, yes, my friends, Heather is indeed right in saying that these 2 cards are the gifts for all of your hard work. This is the growth from all of those beans you have planted, those dreams you have planted, those steps that you have followed when you thought that they were perhaps leading you into a swamp. But they were not, my friends. They were leading you to us, this beautiful, glistening, glimmering, shimmering, shiny, sparkly place, full of love and kindness and abundance and wealth and health and gratitude and honour. For this is where we are all walking. This is the place we are all walking towards. And you, my dear ones, you who are watching, you who are listening, you who have been working in the dirt and toiling in the fields and planting so many seeds for so many years, you are the ones who will collect your harvest first. And it is not a race to the finishing line. It is not my ego over your ego. It is simply because you have done the work. It is simply because you have chosen to look at those patterns of behaviours, of learned conditionings, or that's a dead seed so there's nothing to it, or there's nothing more than these 4 dimensions in this life teachings. You have seen and grown and thrived beyond those narrow parameters that you were perhaps given from childhood. You who have chosen to look at the behaviours and the patterns in your relationships in the past and have chosen otherwise. Who have walked the new pathways in your neurology to step out of those ingrained, seemingly insurmountable ways of being, and have chosen a different path, have chosen new love, have chosen stronger friendships. It is now time for harvesting. The fruits of your labours are here, my friends. They are full of love. They are full of joy. They are very, very personal. And they are yours for the picking, just like a ripe apple from a tree, or a bean from a vine. Again, we remind you to shimmer and to shine, to not be too shy, to allow others to see your great and glorious heart. And again, we remind you that we hold your hand so tightly, so securely, in all of this, all of you, in all of this, This is very, very personal. And of course, very, very collective. And we will remind Heather of this last card as we stay in this channeled space. Beauty's truth. Beauty, physical pleasure, sensuality. A beautiful fairy lady with nature all around her, clad in nature, clothed in nature, kissed by nature, resting in nature. She knows the truth of life, just as you know the truths in life. That life is about love. That life is about the guardianship of love. That life is about holding your strength to your sword arm, as we would say in the past. We see the colours of red in both of these cards, and we remind you that often in your culture these colours of red are the colours of the heart. So this sword and this beauty indeed go together as well. They are par for the course to fight for what you believe in, to stand up for yourself, to stand up for others, to send compassionate action to those places and those people that need it, to not get caught up and to not get your head stuck in that bucket of fear, and instead to stay on your eagle's perch, stay on your cliff edge in your lighthouse and keep sending light. It does indeed make a difference. It is indeed measurable. Some of your scientific instruments have begun to measure this. You will not see this in your mainstream media for quite some time, but it is there if you choose where to look. Strength to your sword arm, my friends. We will finish here, we think, and we will send you great love and great gratitude for joining us here again at this beautiful table, in this beautiful space, in this beautiful time when you are watching or listening, for all time is now, of course, and all of us connect across the veil whenever you sit with us, wherever you sit with us. You see your beautiful Merkabahs shining as we lift you up. You see your beautiful bubbles of light increasing in their glow as you connect more to us. It is like when you charge your phone and the little green light, ting, means it's full. You must keep your own little green light, ting, full. And the way that you do that is to connect with us in whatever way is comfortable for you. But do it often, my friends. More often than you would plug your phone in, plug yourself in to this beautiful system of love that is here for you, designed by you. And is connected to you always. We love you so very dearly, and so it is. Well, that was interesting. I don't think they've ever done that before. Well, they've dropped in and channeled messages along the way before, but they've never, not to camera anyway, maybe in like one-on-one readings with individual people. And when I do live readings to groups of people, I don't use cards. But they've never done that, certainly the camera, but they've kept going with the cards in channel. That was quite cool. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there too. But I felt like I should come back on, so to speak, and sign off. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. That feels really big. I feel like I'm going to plug all the things in so they can upload, but I'll have a rest and have some lunch on the couch, take my own advice, take their advice for me as well, and not run to the next thing, but absorb and rest or as I move forward, which is nice. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, because then you'll get notified when I put. Stop swinging, Heather. I'm sorry, I can't help it. I have to concentrate not to swing on the swinging chairs. Yeah, subscribe if you want to subscribe. That helps you see when I put up new videos, and it helps other people see the videos as well. Stay in touch on Facebook and Instagram if you want, and I'll post the photos of the cards up in the next few days. And that's it, I think. Got some merch happening, some sales on Redbubble, blah blah. Okay, cool. Yes, I've started doing the mid-month messages. We did the first one last month, so hopefully I'll do another one in 2 weeks' time. Yeah, it's kind of cool. I like them. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Much love. Bye.